Strategic initiative originates from the upper management. It is cascaded down to the organization where solicitation for voluntary work or whatever contribution and the required creativity is initiated. If there is a concern on the strategic change raised from the functional level, then it will be a collaborative effort where involvement of those directly affected by the changes may matter. If there's a need, the allocation of resources will be outsourced, especially if the skill sets needed are not available in the organization. The outsourced materials will then be integrated into the development done by the in-house staff. At the same time, while the improvement is not yet in place, a temporary status quo of business as usual will take place. The involvement of the lower levels only happens on the rollout of the strategic change. However, the involvement of the divisional and functional levels is solicited for any suggestions and recommendations. It is then slowly introduced in the organization or to the organization and the familiarization of the process, the product, etc. It then becomes part of the services offered to the client. Calling out the person is the most effective means to put a stop to the deviant behavior. A personal conversation would explain the issue, understand the matter at hand, and come up with a resolution. That is to align the behavior to the company's values and policies. Putting a superior at a status or at a certain pedestal of no touch, no question is hindering personal growth of its team members. Whether it's constructive criticism or just an ire, a voice should be heard. This enables the feedback loop active and wouldn't put an impression of not being heard at all by the management. Based on experience, formal meetings may not be always the perfect venue to bridge communication, especially if the organizational hierarchy is so strict. More casual and open peer communication via an internal group chat or any work related group chat is more effective in building a structured communication channel. A weekly meeting may become monotonous and will lose its relevance over repetitions, especially if the attendees are not the active speaker or contributor for the issue. I still believe in a work life balance. A culture where come early, leave late is relatively good, but on a stricter sense, a productive work within the agreed number of hours, no overtime, is a more agreeable arrangement. An arrangement whether it is uniform working hours or offsetting. On a personal note, my parent would always told me about problem and stress are an ending. Rest, pause. Break is equally important. Our head office, we often refer to that as United Nations. It is inclusive where different nationalities are employed. However, on a customer facing department, it's important that the customer talks to the local counterpart. Though local clients, as observed, have biases on dealing and interactions with foreigners compared to their local counterparts. Local clients tend to be more receptive to foreigners. While the company has no bias and discrimination, the local banks that we support do have. The management has decided to send local staff to the head office abroad. This exercise allows the staff to get to know or put a face to those people they frequently talk to online. This also allows the local staff to have an idea of what happens in the head office. The interpersonal engagement and interaction puts the work more humane rather than just the standard protocol or internal support. The amount of work, the demand for resources, and the conflict in resources created became more transparent and can easily be addressed accordingly. I think it's a 5 being more culturally adaptable and not overbearing. by having local offices on certain countries servicing local client banks. The organization has developed to adapt to the local work ethics. Similarly, local staff has integrated into the organization's culture. The strict dress code became irrelevant in the daily work. However, it's important when facing the client. When facing client, it carries more presentable manner when they need to do a face-to-face meeting or do physical engagement activities. Similarly, introducing an English work ethics versus example a Philippine work ethics has already been integrated and assimilated in the day-to-day work.